Welcome to my channel, The Proper Guidance. Here we are today to discuss about chapter number 9, Structured Query Language of Class 12 Computer Science. So, Structured Query Language. In abbreviation, we all know about this. This is known as SQL. In this chapter, we will learn about SQL, data types and constraints in MySQL, SQL for data definition, SQL for data manipulation, SQL for data query, data updation and deletion, functions in SQL, group by clause in SQL, operations on relations, using two relations in a query. Okay. So, first introduction. We have learnt about Relational Database Management System (RDBMS) and its purpose in the previous chapter. There are many RDBMS such as MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Oracle, etc. that allow us to create a database consisting of relations. These RDBMS also allow us to store, retrieve and manipulate data on that database through queries. In this chapter, we will learn how to create, populate and query databases using MySQL. So, this is structured query language, that is SQL. One has to write application programs to access data in case of a file system. However, for database management system, there are special kinds of languages called query language that can be used to access and manipulate data from the database. The structured query language SQL is the most popular query language used by major relational database management system such as MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server. SQL is easy to learn as the statements comprise of descriptive English words and are not case sensitive. We can create and interact with a database using SQL easily. The benefit of using SQL is that we do not have to specify how to get the data from the database. Okay, this is the main thing. Rather, we simply specify what is to be retrieved and SQL does the rest, although called a query language. SQL can do much more besides querying. SQL provides statements for defining the structure of the data, manipulating data in the database, declaring constraints and retrieving data from the database in various ways, depending on our requirements. In this chapter, we will use the student attendance discussed in chapter number 8 and create a database. We will also learn how to populate databases with data, manipulating data, and retrieve data from a database through SQL queries. Installing MySQL. How to install MySQL? MySQL is an open source RDBMS software which can be easily downloaded from the official website. This one, MySQL, Start MySQL service. The appearance of MySQL prompt will be here and ready to accept SQL statements. Okay. So, following are some important points to be kept in mind while using SQL. First one, SQL is case insensitive. For example, the column names salary in lowercase and in uppercase are the same for SQL. Okay, this is not case sensitive. Okay, always end SQL statements with a semicolon. This is the syntax of SQL. To enter multi-line SQL statements, we don't write semicolon after the first line. We press the enter key to continue on the next line. The prompt MySQL then changes to this one, indicating that statement is continued to the next line. After the last line, put semicolon and press enter. This means it will be ended here. Okay. So, these are the very basic concept of SQL, how to write down the program in SQL. Now, data types and constraints in MySQL. We know that a database consists of one or more relations and each relation is made up of attributes. Each attribute has a data type. We can also specify constraints for each attribute of a relation. Data type of attribute. Data type of attribute. Data type of an attribute indicates the type of data value that an attribute can have. It also decides the operations that can be performed on the data of that attribute. For example, arithmetic operations can be performed on numeric data, right? But not on character data. Commonly used data types are in MySQL are numeric types, date and time types, and all those things are given in this table here, table 9.1. Commonly used data types in MySQL: char in, varchar in, int, float, and det. All the names imply that. Char for character types, varchar specifies character type data of length, where in could be any value from 0 to 65535. But unlike char, varchar in is a variable length data type, that is, declaring varchar 30 means a maximum of 30 characters can be stored, but the actual allotted bytes will depend on the length of the entered string. So, ct in varchar 30 will occupy space needed to store 4 characters only. This is varchar. Int specifies an integer value. Each int value occupies 4 bytes of storage. The range of unsigned values allowed in a 4-byte integer type of this. Float, whole number with decimal points. Each float value occupies 4 bytes. Date, the date type is used for dates here. Okay. And next thing, constraints. Constraints are the certain types of restrictions on the data values that an attribute can have. Okay. And these are the constraints in the table here. Not null ensures that a column cannot be null. Cannot be null values, where null means missing or unknown, not applicable value. Unique means ensures that all the values in a column are distinct or unique. Default value specified for the column if no value is provided. Primary key, the column which can uniquely identify each row or record in a table. Foreign key, the column which refers to value of an attribute defined as primary key in another table. So, this is commonly used SQL constraints. After that, we will learn about SQL for data definition. In order to able to store data, we need to first define the relation schema. Defining a schema includes creating a relation and giving name to a relation, identifying the attributes in a relation, deciding upon the data type for each attribute, and also specify the constraints as per requirements. Sometimes we may require to make changes to the relation schema also. SQL allows us to write statements for defining, modifying, and deleting relation schemas. These are part of data definition language. We have already learned that the data are stored in relations or tables in a database. Hence, we can say that a database is a collection of tables. The create statement is used to create a database and its tables. Before creating a database, we should be clear about number of tables the database will have, the columns in each table along with the data type of each column and its constraints if any. Okay. Now see how to create a database. Create database. To create a database, we use the create database statement as shown in the following syntax. Create database, database name, semicolon. To create a database called student attendance, we will type following comment at MySQL create database student attendance along with semicolon. Query OK, 1 row affected 0.07. In Linux environment, names for database and tables are case sensitive, whereas in Windows there is no such differentiation. However, as a good practice, it is suggested to write database or table name in the same letter cases that were used at the time of their creation. Okay, and a dbms can manage multiple databases on one computer. Therefore, we need to select the database that we want to use. To know the names of existing databases, we use the statement show databases from the list here, and all those things are here. Create table, first one is create table. After creating a database, first we create the database here, database name. Once the database is selected, we can proceed with creating tables or querying data. In order to use the student attendance database, the following SQL statement is required. MySQL database changed. Initially, the created database is empty. initially the created database is empty, it can be checked by using the show tables statements that list names of all the tables within a database. Now create table. After creating a database, student attendance, we need to define relations in this database and specify attributes for each relation along with data type and constraints, if any, for each attribute. This is done using the create table statement. Syntax: create table, table name, attribute name, data type, constraint, like this. It is important to observe the following points with respect to create table statement. The number of columns in a table defines the degree of that relation, which is denoted by n. Attribute name specifies the name of the column in the table, and data type specifies the type of data that an attribute can hold. Constraint indicates the restrictions imposed on the values of an attribute. By default, each attribute can take null values except for the primary key. Clear? Let us identify data types of the attributes of table student along with their constraints, if any, assuming maximum students in a class to be 100 and values of roll number in sequence 1 to 100. We know that 3 digits are sufficient to store values for the attribute roll number. So, total number of characters int is appropriate, all those things are here. Come to this place, data types and constraints for the attributes of relation student. Roll number, S name, S date of birth, GYD. Data expected to be stored, roll number, obviously this is of integer type, so data type will be int. Constraint, primary key. S name, varchar 20, maximum 20 characters will be taken here as the name of the student. This is not null. Date of birth, date data type will be taken, this is not null. GYD numeric value consisting of 12 digits, character of 12, foreign key. Okay. So, data types and constraints for the attributes of relation student. Now, data types and constraints for the attributes of relation guardian. Attribute name, data type, constraint, primary key, and Gname, Gphone, Gaddress, all these things are varchar, not null, this. Okay. So, data types and constraint of the attributes of attendance. You people please go through minutely in these tables and the data type and all those things, which is primary key, which is foreign key, all those things. Okay. After that, once data types and constraints are identified, let us create tables without specifying constraints along with the attribute name for simplification. We will learn to incorporate constraints on attributes in section 9.44. Create table student. See, create table student. We are creating a table here. MySQL, create table student, roll number int, comma, S name varchar 20, comma, S date of birth date, comma, GYD cat 12, comma, primary key roll number, semicolon. This is completed here because the last line will be followed by a semicolon. Comma is used to separate two attributes and each statement terminates with a semicolon. The arrow is an interactive continuation prompt. If we enter an unfinished statement, the SQL shell will wait for us to enter the rest of the statement. Okay. Now, describe table. How to describe the table? We can view the structure of an already created table using the describe statement or DESC statement. Syntax: describe table name, MySQL describe student. This is the table here. 4 rows in this section. We can show table statements are also here. Alter table. Next, alter table. After creating a table, we may realize that we need to add or remove any attribute or to modify the data type of an existing attribute or to add constraint in attribute. In that case, we need to change or alter all these things. Add primary key to a relation. How to add? Come here. Alter table guardian, add primary key GUID. Query OK. This is as written like this. Now, let us add primary key to the attendance. When we alter table attendance, add primary key roll number, this thing. Okay. Add foreign key to a relation. Once primary keys are added, the next step is to add foreign keys to the relation, if any. Following points need to be observed while adding foreign key to a relation. The referenced relation must be already created. The referenced attributes must be part of the primary key of the referenced relation. Data types and site of referenced and referencing attributes must be the same. Syntax: alter table, table name, and foreign key attribute name references referenced this thing. Let us now add foreign key to the table student. Shows the attribute GUID is a foreign key and it refers to attribute GUID of table guardian. Hence, student is the referencing table and guardian is the reference table as shown in this thing. Alter table student at foreign key GUID, this thing. Add constraint unique to an existing attribute in guardian table. The attribute gphone has this. Okay. Alter table, table name, and add unique attribute name. Add an attribute to an existing table. Sometimes we may need to add an additional attribute. Then we use like this: alter table, table name, and attribute name data type. Okay. So you people just go through all these lines minutely. Modify data type of an attribute. How to modify? Syntax is alter table, table name, modify data name. Okay. I am just highlighting the statements here for your convenience, because this chapter is quite a big chapter. I am just highlighting the main section. Modify constraint of an attribute. When we create a table, by default each attribute takes null value except for the attribute defined as primary key. We can change an attribute's constraint from null to not null using an alter statement. Syntax is here, not null. Okay. And to associate not null constraint with attribute sname of table student, we write the following MySQL statement like this: modify sname, alter table, table name, sname varchar not null. Okay. Add default value to an attribute. Alter table, table name, modify attribute data type default, default value. This is the way to write. Remove, just remove this one. To remove the attribute income from table guardian, write the following, this thing. Remove primary key from the table. Syntax is here: alter table, table name, drop primary key. Okay. I am just highlighting the portion. You people please go through elaborately. Okay. This is the theory portion. Drop statement. Drop statement means sometimes a table in a database or data itself needs to be removed. What to do? We can use a drop statement here, or to remove a database or a table permanently from the system. However, one should be very cautious while using this statement, as it cannot be undone. Syntax: to drop a table, drop table, table name. Okay. Next, SQL for data manipulation. Data manipulation. Data manipulation means data manipulation using a database means either insertion of new data, removal of existing data, or modification of existing one. So insertion records, insert into table name values, this thing. All these things are here. MySQL like this. Okay. So here is this. Here it is. Syntax is here. Okay. All these things are here. So you people please go through. And after that, let us now insert the records given in table. When we have to insert something, we are just using this command: insert it to student values. Okay. To insert the first record of table 9.7, we write the following MySQL statement here: MySQL insert into student values, these things. Okay. And next, there are so many terms. SQL for data query. So far we have learned how to create a database and how to store and manipulate data in them. We are interested in storing data in a database, as it is easier to retrieve data in future from databases in whatever way we may want. Okay. SQL provides efficient mechanism to retrieve data stored in multiple tables in MySQL database, or dbms. The SQL statement select is used to retrieve data from the tables in a database and is also called a query statement. Select statement is very important. It's dbms. The SQL statement select is used to retrieve data from the tables in a database, and the output is also displayed in tabular form here, this thing. Okay. Select attribute, attribute name. Here is an example. Okay, to select all the data available in a table, we use the following select statement. Select star from table name. It will show you all the available data in that particular existing table. So, here example 9.2, the following query retrieves the name and date of birth of student with roll number 1. MySQL select sname as date of birth from student where roll number equals to 1 semicolon. It will give you the following section. The table portion is here, sname as date of birth, sname, student name, author Ahuja, and date of birth is here also, and one row inside this. Okay, and what is the syntax here? Select sname. Sname is the attribute, name as date, the second field, from student. What is student here? Actually, the student is the name of the table. Table name is student here, and from the student table where roll number is 1, in particular that section, we are showing the name of the student, and along with the name it will show you the date of birth also. So, querying using database office. Organizations maintain databases to store data in the form of tables. Let us consider the database office of an organization. Come to the point, records to be inserted into the employee table. This is an employee table. Employee table, employee number is here, e-name means employee name, salary, bonus, and department ID is here. To retrieve selected columns. MySQL select employee number from employee. It will retrieve all the numbers here. Okay, employee number 101, 12, up to what? Up to 110. See, 10 rows. The following query selects the employee number and employee name of all the employees. We write here like this. MySQL select employee number, employee name from employee. 2 columns will be shown here according to that particular table. Renaming of columns. If we want to rename any column, what to do? Select ename as name from employee. Select ename as name. Here in the given table, the table name was ename, and we want to change it to name. Instead of ename, we are going to write down just name on the above of the column. Then we write down the highlighted portion. Select ename as name from employee, and it will show you like this. Okay. Select names of all employees along with their annual income. Then select ename as name, salary, start 12 from employee. Calculated as annual income. Annual income means for 12 months. And in the given table, it had shown the monthly salary. So we have to calculate the annual income like 12 into salary, and then it will show you like this. After that, select ename as name, salary, annual income. It will show you like this. And distinct clause. What is distinct clause? By default, SQL shows all the data retrieved through query as output. However, there can be duplicate values also. The select statement, when combined with a distinct clause, returns records without repetition, distinct records. For example, while retrieving a department number from employee relation, there can be duplicate values as many employees are assigned to the same department. To select unique department number for all the employees, we use distinct as shown below. MySQL select distinct department ID from employee. Okay, so this is the distinct clause. After that, we will learn where clause. Where clause, the where clause is used to retrieve data that meets some specified condition. In the Office database, more than one employee can have the same salary, right? Following query gives distinct salaries of the employees, gives you the distinct salaries of the employees working in the department number D01. Select distinct salary from employee where department ID is equals to D01. Clear? As the column department department ID is of string type, its values are enclosed in quotes. So here it is, and there are so many examples are here. You people please go through. After that, we will learn membership operator IN. membership operator operator in. The in operator compares a value with a set of values and returns true if the value belongs to that particular set. The above query can be written as like this: select star from employee by department ID this. Then it will show you the following result. You people just check the given table along with the table retrieved after the query is given. Okay. So the following query selects details. This is a different statement, department ID not in this thing. Okay. So next, ordered by clause. Ordered by clause, the name implies used to display data in an ordered form with respect to a specified column. By default, ordered by displays records in ascending order of the specified column's values. To display the records in descending order, the DESC means descending keyword needs to be written with that column. The following query selects details of all the employees in ascending order of their salaries. Select from employee ordered by salary, employee name, e-name, salary, bonus, department ID. So these are the different queries. Ordered by salary, DSC means, look here, in a decreased manner, 60,000 then 50,000 in a descending way it will show you. Handling, next one, handling null values. SQL supports a special value called null to represent a missing or unknown value. For example, the chief on column, Guardian, this is different from 0. Also, any arithmetic operation performed with null value gives null. For example, 5 plus null equals to null, because null is unknown, hence the result is also unknown. In order to check for null value in a column, we use is null operator. MySQL select start from employee where bonus is null. MySQL select e-name from employee where bonus is not null and department ID equals to this thing. Substring pattern matching. Substring pattern matching, this is very important thing. The like operator, this is pattern matching. Like operator makes use of the following two wildcard characters. % used to represent 0, 1 or multiple characters. Underscore used to represent exactly a single character. The following query selects details of all those employees whose name starts with K. Pattern matching, where e-name this thing. Okay. So these are the various techniques of the statements in RDBMS. You people please go through clearly. All the types are discussed here properly. Data updation and deletion. This is our next point. Updation and deletion of data are also part of SQL data manipulation language, that is DML. In this section, we are going to apply this to data manipulation methods on the student actions database given in section 9.4. Data updation. What is the syntax of update? Update table name, set attribute 1 equals to value 1, attribute 2 value 2, all these things were condition. This is the syntax to update any table. Student table. Now see here, update student, set UID equals to this, where roll number equals to 3. We will get the updated version of the table. Okay. So these are the various techniques. There are so many examples. You people please go through. After that, deletion. Data deletion. Delete means you have to remove. Delete means you have to remove some record from the table. Syntax is delete from table name where condition. Now, delete from student where roll number equals to 2. And see, look at the output. There is no roll number 2. 1, after that 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is deletion. And then functions in SQL. In this section, we will understand how to use single row functions, multiple row function, group records based on some criteria, and working on multiple tables using SQL. Here are some inventory, sell, customer, employee, all these things are here. Inventory stores name, price, model, year of the manufacturing and fuel showroom, customer, phone. You people go through inventory, select start from inventory, show you the entire list. For customer, it will show you the entire list also. For sale, the entire table will be here. Employee, for employee, entire table will be here. Single row function, these are known as scalar functions. These are also known as scalar functions. Single row functions are applied on a single value and return a single value. See here, categories: numeric, math, string, data type. Math functions accept numeric value as input and return a numeric value as a result. String functions accept character value as input and return either character or numeric values or output. Date and time functions accept date and time value as input and return numeric or string or date and time as output. Math functions here is a table for us to understand math functions clearly. This is 3 commonly used numeric functions at power, round and mod. Their usage along with syntax is given below. Power x, y can also be written as this thing. Calculate x to the power y. Select power 2, 3 means 2 to the power 3, 2 cube, the value will be 8. Round function, mod function, all the functions are here. Okay, so people please go through. Here are so many examples given. Go through the highlighted one. Calculate and display the amount to be paid each month, like this query will be given. There are so many queries. Highlighted one, check the highlighted one, the given table, and after that, after the query, check the output table also. So there are so many examples. Next point, string functions. String functions, uppercase, uppercase, upper string, lower string, mid string, substring, all these things. Go through about their output. Example with output is here, description is here. Please go through the chart. Length, left, string functions are here. So many functions are here. Okay, trim function returns the given string after removing both lead. Trim function, trim. These are the very important terms used in database to trimming the characters. Okay, so next we will do date and time functions. Here is also another chart. Date and time function, now, date, month, year, day, name, like this. Next, aggregate function. Aggregate function, the name implies multiple row functions will be here. And difference between single and multiple row function, you people just go through this chart. Single row function, it operates on a single row at a time. It operates on groups of rows. It returns one result per row. It returns one result for a group of rows. It can be used in select, where and order by clause. It can be used in the select clause only. Math, string and date functions are example of single row. And max, min, average, sum, count and count star are example of multiple row functions. Okay. Aggregate functions in SQL. Aggregate function, max, min, these are the max column, min column. It will be the aggregate function is SQL. Average, sum, count column, all these are of aggregate function. Next, group by clause in SQL. What is group by clause in SQL? At times we need to fetch a group of rows on the basis of common values in a column. This can be done using a group by clause. It groups the rows together that contains the same values in a specified column. We can use the aggregate functions count, max, min, average and sum to work on the group values. Having clause in SQL is used to specify condition on the rows with group by clause. Consider the sale table from the car showroom database. And here are different types of example. If you please go through. After that, operations on relations. What are the operations used on relation? First one, union. From the set theory, you know what is union. This is the Venn diagram. Music, dance. Union means all, including all. This operation is used to combine the selected rows, restricted tables at a time. Okay. Intersect, the common area only, common portion, minus this thing from Cartesian product, X Cartesian product you know now. This is from set theory concept. Using two relations in a query, Cartesian product up to tables. All these things you people please go through. If there is any problem, please ask me. I will take another class. Join on two tables, how to join. Join operation combines tuples from two tables on specified conditions. This is unlike Cartesian product, which make all possible combinations of tuples. While using join clause of SQL, we specify conditions on the related attributes of two tables within the from clause. Usually, such an attribute is the primary key in one table and foreign key in another table. Uniform table, cost table, like this. Okay. So here it is. We have completed the very basic discussion is here today for structured query language, that is for SQL. I know this chapter is slightly a big one, and I just highlighted the portions what to focus. So you people please go through this chapter, entire chapter very minutely. If there is any problem, please feel free to ask me. Okay, next day we will learn the next chapter. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.